What happened?
I don't know. Use QR code.
Here we go.
Are you on?
Hello, everyone. I think we are live.
Hey guys.
Are we live? Can you see it?
I haven't seen it yet. I'm just trying to. Let's see.
It's always such a challenge to get it going. I hate that it doesn't just show us that we're live. Yep, there we are. Hello, everyone.
Hi guys.
Hope everybody had a great holiday, because we did, and it was long. Go ahead.
Happy Thanksgiving to everybody late, but yeah, we had a wonderful.
Here's good toward me. We had a wonderful holiday.
So.
Let's see. Okay, there we go. Now we're starting to see people. Couldn't see anybody there for a second. Yeah, we kind of took a couple days off. Cory is drunk off of cold meds.
medicine.
So he's not feeling very good.
So I'm drinking my teas. So and got a little cold medicine. So I'll try to be aware and excited here.
Yeah.
Might be a little slower than I've usually been. So coming up with witty stuff.
Yeah. So Cory's definitely not feeling good. A cold went through everybody I think pretty much everyone who's staying at our house got sick.
Yeah.
And so it's been a little bit rough at our house. So yeah, feel better, Cory. Hello. Hi, yay, you're live. Oh, hi, Lizzie Tish, how are you? Thanks for joining us again. I feel like when we first got started, you were on here all the time, and I loved it. Now, I like it when I catch you. Okay. So, what, bud?
I can read the stuff over there now too. That's kind of
cool.
cool.
Can you see it?
Yep.
Oh, yay. Okay.
Hi, Granny.
Yeah, we had a long holiday. We had Cory's mom and my mom stay, and I got some really cute pictures of the two of them. So I'm going to actually post those pictures here soon. At least one picture of them, just so that people can see how cute our little moms are. And so, but they stayed with us. So we had guests just barely for the last 10 days. And the last person left last night at 7:30. And so they left and we climbed in bed at like 8 o'clock. We were so tired. A week worth of visitors is awesome, but thanks, Brooke. Brooke says you guys are the only reason I get on TikTok. Thank you. But yeah, a week's worth of visitors, and we were tired. So this morning, our 17-year-old had to go to high school, and I got up with him and did just a live rewatch, or not even a rewatch, an initial watch, and then did a video on it before the grandbabies got here. And then we've had grandbabies all day, and they left about 45 minutes ago. So we are ready to do this and watch this episode. We watched it while the 1-year-old took a nap today. We haven't had a chance to talk about it at all. We haven't had a chance to go over anything, so this is going to be interesting to say the least. Hi, Mindy. Good evening to you too. Hi, Briley. We've got a lot of you guys on here. Right on.
Thank you, Mindy.
Yeah, thank you. We're still figuring out different screens. We do have a studio that we have started to set up, and then we changed it to a guest room. So you're seeing us in our office still. We're going to stay in our office for just a minute until we start getting, till tomorrow when we get our studio set back up. Okay, so I did a live, I recorded myself on commercials while watching the episode this morning. And I don't know, there's a lot that we have to say about it. I just think I don't understand. There's so much facial expressions. Everyone's like, oh my gosh, Cory's face tells the real story. Well,
so do theirs.
Robin and Cody's face tell the real story about what's happening with the finances. Somebody also did comment on that post saying Janelle got some money out of Coyote Pass. I don't know. I haven't confirmed that, so I don't know for sure. Hi there, Nibbler. Your reactions were spot on. Thanks, Princess. It just, I don't know. We both talk to our moms a lot. So with our moms, they are both some of the original. Cory's mom was definitely one of the original matriarchs, if you will, of the AUB. And so she's the one who her husband Cory's dad did a lot of getting people to come in, proselyting and getting people to come in, converting people. And so he was on, so we talked to her a lot too. So she's been a polygamist wife for 55 years, and then my mom is on 51 years. And so they were both some of the very originals. So Christine's grandpa, Rulin Allred, founded the AUB. And then he's the one who converted Cory's dad and converted my dad. And so our mothers were both some of the original. So even though they both converted in, they were some of the original matriarchs, if you will, of the AUB. And so that was kind of cool to have them both here and hear their different types of experiences over the weekend. My mom being that she was, raised her children in a separate house from the other wives, and then Cory's mom, living on the compound up there. And she actually she knows Robin's mom very well from back in the day. She knew Robin's both other mothers pretty well too, because they all lived in the trailer court next door to each other for quite a while. So she knew them all pretty well. And so it's kind of interesting to hear some of her stories and listen to some of her stuff. Hi, Karen, how are you? And so I really appreciated being able to have some one-on-one time to talk to them. So, okay, you want to go, or do you have anything else you want to go over for a holiday weekend that we just got through?
Yeah, it was long or tiring, so exciting though too. It's interesting too, talking to the different mothers.
Now Cory pretend he likes me and scoot by me.
Yeah, some of them she was basically taught by the original founder of the AUB, and so I guess my parents were a group that tried to live all in the same house. That's why they moved up to Pinesdale. They're trying to build these huge houses to live and basically test the theory out that all the wives could live together in peace and harmony. So
yeah, and that's what she said when Cody came to live with her. So Cody took Mary on his honeymoon and they stayed at Cory's house, and then he also took Christine on her honeymoon and they stayed at Cory's house. But that was why,
to see how polygamous wives live together.
And so that was why they stayed up there, is because they wanted to figure out how they do that. And so I thought that was kind of interesting that she said they were hardly there. They would come, at night and stay there, but then they would go do whatever they were off doing. And they live in a beautiful part of Montana, so there's a lot to do up there. But yeah, so that was kind of interesting to have her tell us some of those stories. Somebody says, where's Dayton? Anyone else wondered about this? I'll bet he's just like all the other kids and just decided he doesn't want to be filmed anymore.
Yeah, tired of the TV.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think at least that's how I would be. So somebody says, do you feel like Mary having a hard time on who to trust? Do you think her loyalty gets in the way? I do, honestly. I feel like that's the problem when you are in this religion, is that he pits these wives against each other so much that they don't know who to believe or what to believe. And this is very, very common in polygamy, because if they start comparing their stories, then they're going to see who's who and what's what, and he doesn't want them to do that.
Yeah, and Janelle and Mary have had issues in the past, but it kind of tells you the character of Janelle, where she's still willing to come and talk to Mary, and I just saw the eye glances of those two, like, oh my gosh, they're talking? Wait a minute, no, we want to be the only one in the communicating about the property and the land. I don't want Mary to know what kind of deals I'm doing with Janelle to get Janelle to go away, because then I have to be fair to all of them.
Yeah, and he doesn't want to be fair.
He would, then they're right. He's trying to get the lion's share out of it.
Yeah.
So.
And that's the thing about these. The only, like, the biggest thing that these women have in their favor is that everything they're doing is televised. Because a lot of these polygamous women, they're not televised. And so they don't have the same, advantages that a lot of these women have. So they might come out of it, unscathed a little bit, but not, he definitely wants to screw them over. Sunny, thank you for being a subscriber, Sunny. She says, Janelle talks a lot about how Cody was supposed to overcome his feelings. Can you talk more on that? Maybe be a little bit more specific, which feelings you think, because I'm happy to answer that, but I'm not sure which feelings they're talking about. What?
Was it on this
Is
episode?
it on this episode? Because if it is, shoot that question back in the comments and I'll take it. Thank you, William.
Yes, thank you guys.
Amy says, we've heard he went back to his bio dad, Dayton, which is a very high probability. It's a beautiful place, Montana, especially. I think it's a really great place, especially for children who are on the spectrum at all. Somebody says, where's Mary's child? I don't know. I think she made the same request, or they made the same request, whatever. I don't know. I don't know anything about that. It sounds like Robin's daughter wants to join a Christian church. Is that unusual for ex-AUB? Thank you, William. Thank you, Shelley. It's actually it's very common. A lot of people come out of AUB and
either go to the Mormon church or to a Christian church.
They'll come out and then they'll join a Mormon church, and then typically they'll leave Mormon church and join a Christian church. It's very, very common because they still believe in Christ and they still want to have a Christ-centered religion. They just don't want to have a polygamy-centered religion. I think overcome his feelings and treat them fairly. Okay. But his feelings of being madly in love with Robin, that's just so ridiculous for him to do that to them.
The trick, well, I don't know. I'm not a polygamist, but he needed to be fair, and it's kind of interesting. There was a question I had. I have a bias against Robin.
Here's my facial expressions.
I would say I'd have a bias. So when she started coming into the family, I was worried for the family, or not worried, but I was just like, oh man, they're in for it. They're in trouble for that. So
yeah, you were worried. His comment was that family's.
Yeah. Families.
Oh, thank you guys. Thank you guys for those videos. Thank you.
When did people start to dislike, I guess, Robin and Cody?
Yeah.
I disliked her from the minute she came on. I had no dislike for Cody. I didn't know him. But later on, as I've seen him be basically led around by her and not be fair, not be equal to the other wives, like his sacred covenant to all of them.
Yeah, that is the one thing we did talk about today, just briefly, as we were making peanut butter and jelly for the kids, is that we're curious when people started not liking Robin. Because because we haven't watched all the seasons and we haven't stayed in touch with kept our thumb on like what the vibe of the show is. We were just curious when people started to not like her. Was it a certain season? Was it something that she started to... obviously you can see all of the stuff that she's doing. She's doing a lot of shit.
From the jump.
Oh my gosh, your guys' comments are hilarious.
Well, you guys are right.
It was bad vibes from the get-go. Let's see. I wish oh shoot, that's jumping quick. I think he's acting like he's in love with Robin because he failed his other wives so miserably. He's laying it on pretty thick, isn't he? I wish they'd talk more about how the first talk about plural lifestyle came up. I think, with Cody and Mary, because I think it's just always assumed, at least it was for us, it's just always assumed that you're going to live that way. Pretty much right away, like season 1 or 2, and Cody wasn't long after that. Okay, that makes sense. When you have a vibe about you, you have a vibe about you, and I definitely get that. Season 1, the episodes where they went dress shopping for the wedding, that was so cringy for me. I was like, that's really when because all of the polygamists from the AUB really did start to watch this show. Even if they weren't from the AUB, they started to watch this show. And then it became so unrealistic. You know, oh, somebody says the 11-day honeymoon. I will never let that one go. I think it's so disgusting. From the get-go, never was liked. The first episode, my sister said that woman is trouble. I feel biased also.
Yeah. I am completely biased. I am absolutely biased because I grew up with them.
Yeah.
And so I knew I knew very similar trouble in not only the marriage, but in her mother trained her well. She's training her daughters well. So I'm curious. I saw the last bit of this, the trailer on it. So I didn't know if she was talking about going to a Christian church.
Or back to the AUB
Or back
church.
to the AUB, but yeah.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see how her mother advises her.
Yeah, I'm curious about that too. To see next week.
So, if she's going back to the AUB, you guys watch out.
Yeah. Hey, Sunny, thank you for being a subscriber. She wanted equal time and out the ladies in their place. Yeah, that was huge for me when she demanded equal time when she wasn't even married to him. Yeah. And the 11-day honeymoon right out of the gate. So it was the wedding dress scene for us that we stopped watching the show pretty much, because I was like, they're not even wearing their garments. They're not, like, this show is not. They just conformed to mainstream media at this point. And then what's the point of the show? It's how she
Mine wasn't that. Mine was Robin's was on.
When Robin got on, we didn't know who Robin was. So yeah.
She didn't, and I'm like, I was watching it with them while they were sitting there. I'm like, oh, this is not going to be good. But I watched a couple episodes throughout the year, but
yeah. So somebody says Cody seemed so different before Robin. His kid said God told him he is here to love, not judge. Yeah, he was a lot different. He was still very. Somebody goes, when she kicked the damn dog in season 1. I literally had to go find that clip when somebody said that. I was like, no way did she kick a dog, but apparently she did. And I found that video on YouTube and watched it. I was stunned. I did not expect that. Let's see. It's how she was treated better than the other wives. Yeah.
Yeah,
it
that's
really
what
was.
Frustrated me with Cody, because Cody should have been equal.
Yeah.
And he wasn't. You could tell from the get-go that he found his soulmate, and that's probably why she demanded the time up front.
Yeah. Is
because they had coveted with each other before they even came down to earth. So based on
that's
their
what soulmates
belief. And so once she found him again, once they found each other, the wives better not get in the way of them hanging out. And
yeah. Poor Christine.
On a sorry, man.
Yeah, Corey's a little high on. You might hear
technicality of marriage. So
yeah, Joyce says the first time that Cody talked about Robin, and then we met her. Yeah, Sunny, thank you for being a subscriber. As soon as she started shaking like she was an expert on how polygamy worked. I did see a comment today on some social media about how I had claimed that she did live polygamy, and everybody lives polygamy differently. Robin was raised in polygamy. Do I ever think she actually really lived polygamy? No, because when she got to Cody, she hogged him all for herself. But she was raised in polygamy. She was raised around it. She knew the familiarities about it. But I would give this person who did this post a credit, because has she ever technically lived plural marriage? No. Yes, but has she truly lived plural marriage? No. Not
even based on the AUB's teachings.
Yeah. She really hasn't.
They've been living as monogamous for quite a while.
And you'll see that.
The first 3 lived as polygamists.
Yeah.
But
oh, thank you, Kelly. And you'll see that in polygamy. You'll see a polygamous man live 3 monogamous marriages, and it's not a family. And that's one of the reasons why Cody and Mary went on their honeymoon to Corey's house, is because they really wanted to see what that one house family, because they wanted to be a one family. He didn't want 3 he didn't want monogamous relationships. He wanted a family. And so that's what happened until Robin came around, and then he changed and wanted it to be.
Thanks, Emily.
Yeah. Thanks, Em. Also, Robin didn't want Christine to watch her kids, and then why be in a plural family? Exactly. So Robin really didn't want to live the one family unit, which is what Cody was after, which is, then he took Christine up there because now he's adding a third wife. He takes Christine on her honeymoon to Cory's house so that he can fine tune the one house living. And then he gets Robin, who comes in, and she just wants to do monogamy.
Friend's back.
Yeah. Why would anybody in their right mind? Let's see. Come on. Sorry, this jumped so hard. When Cody was driving 5 hours every weekend to see her. Yeah, you guys are awesome. There's so many. If this goes to court, the other side's attorneys are going to have a field day with the clips. Oh, I know. Corey, you didn't recognize Robin's built-in frown. Yeah, he did. Right off the bat, he did. Also, when Robin didn't want... we already read that. Can Robin's daughter be a part of the church after Cody's behavior and hatred? Yeah, she's a young
girl.
And she comes from as much royalty as Christine does because of her dad. And so she comes from that line too. So absolutely she can do... Yeah. So she would absolutely be welcomed back in there. Let's see. If this, season 1, when questions were asked and Robin would answer how polygamy works, but she never lived it. I know, she sure seems to know a lot. We're not even going to get to the recap, are we? We're just going to go straight into the questions. Cody and that hair last night. Come on. He gives his hair way too much airtime. Robin and the Cody talk. She speaks Cody as one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. Oh my God. When
she speaks for Cody.
Yeah. When Robin offered to be a surrogate for Mary and then changed her mind and Mary wanted it. Yeah. If Robin truly lived plural marriage, then Cory never had a nefarious revelation. It's very true. So no, she didn't technically, no, for all intents and purposes, she didn't live plural marriage the way that these original 3 wives and Cody had set the family up to live that way. But she was raised in it. She was very familiar with it. She was on the compound I think she moved away, Cory's mom guessed, when she was 12 or 13. So on this opening scene, I really didn't think Nathan was crying, but he appears to be crying. What?
I thanked everybody there.
Thank you.
Everybody sending us so many roses. I appreciate that.
Oh, thank you guys. And I think that Mary's almost what the hell is wrong with you? Why? This came a little bit too late in the game. And Nathan's looking at him what the heck? And Jen, I really, really appreciate Jen because she just sat there and held space for Mary to go, what just happened? Because that had to have hit Mary right between the eyes. She had to have been what the hell are you doing? And I'm sad for him that it took him this much to realize what he had. I'm sad for him that he didn't realize that ahead of time before he lost everything that he had. But at the same time, this man... I
don't think he wanted... he wanted the notoriety, he wanted the wives, but once he found Robin, I think he was content to be monogamous.
Yeah.
So...
Somebody said... Oh, go ahead.
His actions basically says he's enjoying being a monogamist. And I think a lot of those tears could have been for show, but that's what I was curious about. It is coming to an end of an era. That's something that he said is an end of an era. They were a family on TV.
And they worked hard.
They did all of this stuff, and now they're going to, if it continues, film separately, which is going to be interesting. So
yeah. Somebody says court will get the unedited footage if they want to use the TLC footage, which is awesome. I hope they do. Robin's hung herself a million times, and so is Cody. But Jen, I just absolutely adore her. I really do. I'm so grateful. Last week I was I really hope Jen straightened Mary out after this, and she really did. Mary is looking amazing, by the way. She's obviously very tan, but she's looking amazing. And when Mary questions, did I do the wrong thing? I totally understand that. When I left my ex-husband, my baby was 1. And there was so many times that I had that question. I didn't graduate high school. I didn't know if I had done the right thing. Obviously, years later, I'm so grateful because Cory came around and we were able to create our own family that's so much healthier and so much higher functioning than what I had previously. But it's so ingrained in your subconscious of the ramifications of getting a release, and are you going to be able to even get into heaven? Are you going to be able to, and if there's even just a sliver or a shred of possibility that you could stay together forever, then you want to take that, because your literally eternal salvation is on the line with it.
And that comes from training from birth. We've been trained from birth that you should live this way. And if her question might have been more along the lines, if she hadn't got that release and just kept going, kept suffering through long suffering, would she be rewarded in heaven?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Yeah.
So, and I appreciate how honest Jen is when she's like, we all see it. We all see the favorite wife thing.
Mm-hmm. Everybody does.
In the polygamist group, they can all see each other's favorite wives. Now, you are not supposed to have favorite wives. It is a very huge no-no. Yet every single man in the polygamist group has one. Or they'll rotate. Maybe this woman got on his bad side, so now this other woman is his favorite. Or a new wife came in and she's younger, prettier, and she's a nicer toy than the previous woman was. And so sometimes they'll go through different favorites. My dad, I would say, has had three favorite wives. And the one favorite wife was torture for us growing up. And so other people see it, but it's like the emperor with no clothes on. They don't want to talk about it. They want to just, oh no, you're doing great in the gospel. They always call it the gospel. You're doing great in the gospel. Yeah, I did leave my second. Somebody says, did you leave your second husband? I did. It was me. That's awesome.
Yes.
So when people outside the religion can see it and then people inside the religion can see it, there's a huge problem.
She left him because he was having nefarious revelations. So
yeah,
the third husband's in line now, obedient.
Yeah. So one of the things that really has struck me odd about this whole show, and I'm not really sure why, because like I said, we haven't watched all the seasons, but Cody used to be very much into conspiracy theories and that type of thing. And all of a sudden, COVID comes around and he has done a complete 180. And now he is like all about the safety protocols of COVID. Something doesn't sit right. And I know it wasn't Cody's opinion. It was Robin's and she gave it to him. And I get that. But something had to have, something doesn't make sense, because COVID really was that defining moment that severed and destroyed.
He almost died.
The family was already falling apart, but COVID was what made it visible to everybody. I love how secure Mary is in herself in this video. Let's see. Send TikTok roses to Robin. She'll dry them on a hanger for you. That is a very common thing in polygamy. And it might be in other people too, in other religions too. I just can only speak about polygamy because that's where I grew up. It's very, very common. And the reason why is because you don't have money for frivolous things like roses. So if your husband gets you roses, you cherish those things and you dry them out and you hang them in your home and you do all of these things with them, because that's a frivolous spending. And you just don't do that unless it's your birthday or it's your anniversary. Those are the two things that women get celebrated on. And if you don't have those, it's one of the things that shows, look, my husband loves me. He bought me these dozen roses and now they're dried and hanging in the living room so that the whole world can see that he loves you because he spent grocery money on it. I wish you two could host the reunion. That'd be hilarious. I'd put a lot of thought into that. I'd ask some pretty damn good questions, I won't lie. This is why Mary gave up. Yeah, it was over when Mary divorced him.
It
Absolutely.
wouldn't work for me. I'd be like, that's a bullshit answer.
Now give us the real answer. Give us the one you wanted to give us.
Why were we eyeballing each other?
Yeah.
What was the real conversation behind that there, Cody and Robin?
Yeah. Somebody says, I noticed when Robin showed up, they were moving Mary and everyone got quiet and somber. That's because she sucked all the oxygen out of the mountain.
Universe.
Yeah. Let's see. Mary's point about how can he say he never loved me but be sobbing like this. It makes no sense to me whatsoever. I think he's just trying to find himself too. And I'm sorry, when you agree to this lifestyle, you don't always get the luxury of messing things up and then trying to find yourself like that. You get on you start healing yourself quickly, or this is what happens. Let's see. Nothing was more painful to me than hearing Cody say my only pretty wife in the last season. I mean, I'm not one to judge people's looks, but I would say he had other pretty wives. I heard a rumor that Cody and Robin are being investigated for tax fraud. Yeah, I don't have any idea about that. I would be curious to know a bit about Mary's upbringing. She seems to be processing a lot of trauma. We all process a lot of trauma for sure. I am good friends with a lot of Mary's siblings. And some of them, I went to Israel with a couple of them and they're great, but there's a lot of trauma there for sure. I'm glad Cory could heal Mel's trauma from her second marriage. Yeah, there was a lot of trauma in there. Hey, Grandma Lo, thank you for being a subscriber. She says, I'm just listening for a bit. What does nefarious revelation mean? We actually had to look that up too. Cory's dad was excommunicated from the AUB for nefarious revelation. He can explain.
Basically that you don't go to your priesthood leaders to get revelation from your maker. You get it for yourself, and there's got to be a go-between, a righteous prophet to do it, I'm assuming. So it's just that they believe in one nefarious, meaning that it's evil, or I'll have to look up what the nefarious means, but
it means it's not coming from God, it's coming from a different source. And so the source could be nefarious is we looked up the exact terminology of it, but it could be some evil spirit. It's not coming from God.
And you can only get righteous revelation from the prophet, seer, and revelator, because he's really the one anointed to talk to the Lord for all of his followers.
Yeah.
And some people don't believe that. And when they say, no, I'll get my own information,
if you try to go to God and get your own revelation,
me and my family, then you're being nefarious.
Yeah. Somebody says, why was he upset about leaving the cul-de-sac? He made them leave. It makes no sense to me. I don't understand that at all. He almost died. Jail time is coming. That's funny. I think for him to have the TV show and film, he had to have a certain stance on COVID. Possibly that could very well be true. It just it didn't make any sense to me, because for a while there, I don't know if anyone caught that, he was saying the whole statement, where we go one, we go all. That is very much there's an online conspiracy group online, and that's like their motto. And so I was